Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brady Young, and welcome to the very first episode of the series I have titled Book Talk. Now, I know what you must be wondering is, if you're in this playlist, there's a video before this, and it is titled Book Talk, but that is talking about my book, Darkest Light, It Begins, as a whole. And so what this series will actually be about is me going through each chapter individually and just giving brief descriptions and just talking about certain things that are in there, but there will be no spoilers. So if you came for spoilers, no. If you want to know anything about that's more in depth in this book, you're going to have to buy it. Which you can get it on Amazon, and I will put the links in the description below, and you can get it for both paperback and ebook. Let's just jump right in. So the first chapter is called H.N.C.A, and that's an abbreviation just for the school of the characters. And so what the first chapter does is it introduces some of the main characters and supporting characters, just like any chapter should, like any first chapter should in any book. I'm not going to list off all the characters just because there is quite a bit. There's not a bit, actually. There's a lot of characters in this book. But I wanted to create a lot of characters just so people could maybe connect with certain characters, just connect with different ones. But also within the first few pages of the book, you also get I only know this, but I slipped in one of the very first abilities because, yes, if you didn't know, this book is about superheroes. It includes angels and demons. I mean, it even says it on the back of the book, so it's like, there's no spoiler there. In the first couple pages of the book, I slip in a power, and it is very, very subtle. Well, in my opinion, it's very subtle, and so if you get this book and you read it, you might be going through the first couple pages like, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I giggle every time I see it. Like, I literally am just like, but moving on. As well, in the beginning of the book, I also wanted to do this little funny coincidence as it goes through and as it goes on in the next couple pages. It's a funny little coincidence, in my opinion, just because there's a group of characters that are talking about an event that's happening, that's going on in a different part of the world. And then there's just this other character that just shows up, like, as you finish the first chapter, you'll get, once you read it, you'll actually understand why it's a funny coincidence. But no, I kind of in the first chapter just wanted to slip in as much foreshadowing as I could. And that's what I also did with the two other characters, because there's two parents that they meet at this big company building that they both own. They're both business partners. And so they do a little foreshadowing, and they just talk about this coming storm. Also within this first chapter, you get introduced to a major hangout. Well, it is a hangout that a lot of the characters frequent, mainly because one of the characters' parents actually owns it. So it's like, why not go to it? But it's this fun little hangout place. It's called Genesis. And I apologize if there's actually any fun hangout kind of club places called Genesis. Again, this book is all fictionally based. It's a fun place called Genesis where the teenagers, it's only for high schoolers, so no one under grade 9, no one outside of high school is allowed to go in. Once you graduate, you can't go in. But it's this fun little hangout for just the teenagers to get away from studying, get away from exams. Well, not really get away from it. It's just a place where, after they've done homework, after they're done exams, they can just go relax, just hang out with their friends, dance, do whatever. There are rules into the club, though, and it's a very intricate security system where there's no fighting, there's no drinking, there's no drugs allowed, there's none of that. And the list of the rules also kind of states if you break those rules, you're kind of banned for a little while. Or depending on how bad it is, you might be banned permanently. Why it gets introduced in the beginning of the book is because it introduces the next thing in the first chapter, which is this mugging that happens. And it happens to the main character, Kane. And what happens during that mugging is that something awakens inside of Kane, and he's completely freaked out. He has no idea how he did certain things. But no, also after that mugging, a character shows up who is also a new kid at the school that they go to. And his name is Raphael. And he shows up, and he actually just spurs on Kane, literally by telling him certain things that only make the readers, I'm hoping that it incites the readers, because it incites in Kane more questions than it gives answers. How people have come to me with it, they've enjoyed the first chapter. It's a great setup. But also in the first chapter, I did a setup because you get introduced to Kane, his sister Elaine, and their dad, Brady. Side note, if you haven't watched the Book Talk Darkest Light It Begins video, because I do believe in that video I did talk about how this book is fictionally based on my friends, my family, and me. But I mean, come on, who wouldn't want to fly around, shoot lightning from their hands, teleport, and maybe read minds? I mean, if you live in a city of 3 million people or above, that's a lot of thoughts to take in, and some people's thoughts can kind of be out there. And yeah, moving on. Side note done. But no, you get introduced to Kane and Elaine and Brady. There's a couple times where it's mentioned that there's this picture on the wall in the hallway upstairs of this gorgeous, beautiful woman. And you find out like that's the mom, but she's not there. And so it's a little bit of a, well, not, I guess it's not a spoiler, but like something tragic did happen. And as the story goes on, like that, like the mom, even though she's not a character that has words or whatever, she's kind of a character that does play throughout the whole entire book. But I'm not going to go into that. We're going to have to talk about that in later episodes. And so there are 24 chapters, so we got 23 more to go. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys decide to give this book a read, because I've had quite a few people tell me like it's a really good read. It's just very captivating. I've had some people even say once they start reading it, they can't stop. So even though it is a pretty big book, I've had some people actually tell me like they start reading it and within a few days, like they just finished it. Like that's how much they just got into it. But enough self-advertising. Just remember to give this video, if you enjoyed it, a like. Don't forget to subscribe to stay tuned for more in this series and in my other videos. And like I said before earlier, the links to the Amazon pages to buy this book will be in the description below, along with my social media links. And remember guys, it's all in positivity. Thanks for watching.